Hey everybody, meteorologist Danielle Noyce. This is your insights, lots to get to. Let's dive right in. The drought monitor, this is the update from last week, and I just want to show you to remind you because it gets updated tomorrow morning, and we will have a new map to show you. Moderate to severe drought encompassing a good chunk of New England in the tans and oranges, and likely to expand with tomorrow morning's update with the dry conditions we've had. Not much precipitation. Gusty breeze means elevated fire weather conditions. Again, in fact, critical fire conditions, red flag warnings in effect for all of southern New England through the day today. Now, the wind will continue to ease. It's not nearly as windy as yesterday. We had some gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Inland, it eases through the day today. Same for tonight into tomorrow. Notice it's generally less than 15 miles per hour, especially in western New England. But where it does stay breezy is at the coastline, more out of the north, and then briefly north-northeast during the day tomorrow, some gusts 10 to 20 miles per hour. Then it does kick back up a little bit by the time we get to Friday, especially on Cape Cod and far central and eastern Maine, where some gusts will top out around 30, 35 miles per hour. Notice inland, it is much lighter. So continued elevated fire weather concerns, especially in eastern New England, right on through the end of the week. Meantime, precipitation totals in the last 24 hours haven't seen much. There's a trace to as much as a couple tenths in far northern New England. Had some snow with elevation in the mountains of northern New England yesterday. Still puts us in a deficit for the last 30 days of 1, 2, even nearly 3 inches of precipitation just in the last month alone. So we'll see that drought monitor update tomorrow, and we'll bring it to you in Insights. We could use some rain, obviously. So let's look at the nationwide map first. There's a strong cold front coming into the central United States today. High pressure over us, high pressure behind that, and then another storm coming into the west coast actually is going to bring snow to the west that will be measured in feet. So I'm going to play things through. This is the next 48 hours. You see some of the deeper blues and purples that are showing up here? By the time we get to Friday morning, measuring in 8, 10, 12 inches, generally above 5,000 feet, although that snow level will drop to about 3,000, 4,000 feet during the day tomorrow. So up and down the elevations extending into the Cascades, through Idaho, through northern Montana, through portions of Washington state with slippery and dangerous travel in those areas. The cold front does bring a threat for severe weather today. Slight chance across the Gulf Coast states, especially from Louisiana into Alabama and Mississippi, and that will also mean a threat for some localized flooding. That threat highest in the yellow shaded areas here across Mississippi and Louisiana with those localized downpours and thunderstorms that do develop. That front will push east tomorrow. We're still wedged in between high pressure and that storm out over the ocean. So there will be some rain off to our south and west. It will look like it's coming towards us, but the dry air will win out. So that storm gets deflected to the south. High pressure builds in behind it. What we're going to be seeing is that storm we talked about yesterday retrograding. That means backing up towards New England. So let's take you through the map the next several days. Lots of sunshine today. Some increase in clouds across western New England, especially during the day tomorrow, but a dry day. Here comes that storm backing up towards us. That will toss some clouds in our direction on Friday, particularly in the eastern half of New England. I'm not sold on wet weather. I do think there'll be some showers that come into Maine that may actually mix with some wet snowflakes across far northern Maine, but the moisture doesn't really pinwheel in here fully. So yes, there'll be a chance of a shower in eastern New England Friday afternoon and evening, but it's nothing all that substantial and a good soaking rain like we need. Saturday, that storm is still to our east, so it may mean some lingering clouds on the western fringe of it that will eventually kick out of here as that loses its grip on us by the time we get to the second half of the weekend. That builds some high thin clouds in on Sunday, but the weekend looks mainly dry. Again, that highest chance of a shower comes Friday in eastern New England, and we'll keep you posted on that. We do get a little bit milder after this chilly stretch as we head into the second half of the weekend. Meanwhile, I want to talk about the tropics. We talked about this yesterday. Developing storm down in the Caribbean, likely to become a tropical depression in the next couple of days. The next named storm is Sarah on the list, and I'm playing through the spaghetti plots. Have you heard about this? For tropical systems, right? Several different models that show the potential track of this system. I've put a few on here just to show you, and I'm looping it, that this storm develops and takes a westward motion near the Yucatan Peninsula. The biggest shift since we talked yesterday is it looks like Sarah will take a track over the Yucatan and then emerge in the Gulf and perhaps curve off to the northeast. So I mentioned yesterday that southern Florida, the west coast of Florida, keeping an eye on this forecast closely because you notice as it emerges over the Gulf, with record warm ocean temperatures, a lot of fuel for this storm, and it will take a track towards Florida for the middle part of next week. So lots to keep an eye on. Snowbirds, those residents of Florida as well. Obviously, this time of year, you start to take the shift for some of us that are heading down south to Florida, many of us that are lucky enough to do so. So keep an eye on that forecast. Now, let's take you through some of the temperatures here at home the next several days. For a Thursday, we're in the 40s still. There's still a gusty breeze again in eastern New England, so it's definitely a chilly feel. For Thursday night, widespread 20s. 29 may be a little too chilly in Boston. We may get to near 30 or 32. The thing is, the wind stays active at the coast, so that actually means it stays a little mixed up, the atmosphere, and doesn't allow the temperature to drop off as much as it could. So many of us will be in the 20s, but I do still think there'll be about 30 to 35 in eastern Massachusetts. Friday, some of those clouds back up towards us. Either side of 50 will do it. That wind more out of the north-northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 30 in eastern New England. Friday night, not quite as cold. Widespread 30s for many of us, some 20s in the coldest pockets, but many of us will be in the mid-30s. And then here's the weekend. Saturday, 50s, so a pretty seasonable day. Some lingering clouds, perhaps in eastern New England, and 40s in northern New England, but it's a dry weekend for Saturday and Sunday for your outdoor plans. It shows a lot of clouds. I think there'll be high thin ones that come in on Sunday. So filtered sun, 50s to lower 60s. So actually slightly above average. And that includes for the Pats game with the Rams coming to town, 1 o'clock. Tailgating, maybe a bit breezy to start, but that wind will ease. Temperatures up around 60 degrees for November. Even by the end of the game, we should still be running in the lower 50s. So looking good down at Gillette Stadium for Sunday afternoon's game. Wind shouldn't be that big of an issue. Our app, over 31,000 downloads now. It's free in the App Store and Google Play. You can put several locations in there, pinpoint them, 14-day. Send us your photos, the hourly, and our videos at the top. Thanks for checking in with Insights. We'll have much more with Evening Essentials coming out later on today.